And the hardest thing about me was when all the homies came, especially during that crack area, you know, they was mad at how the government was doing them, and they was like had zero. Confrontment. Meaning that their confrontment was like zero. Wasn't no negotiation. Wasn't no nothing. You know, they didn't have that type of structure. And a lot of them, you know, like, oh man, I ain't never getting out, you know, and I said, you want to get out, man, but this is how you got to do it, no, you know. And one thing I can't say about me, and can't nobody else say no different, you know, when I went and did my time, anybody, and I stand on this, anybody that was in anywhere that I be in these institutions, Crip, Blood, or whatever from Los Angeles, we was one on that yard, period, especially the feds. And I stand on that. And everybody been around me, I didn't want to hear none of that old set tripping shit, that Crip and Blood shit. If we here together, we all as one from California, period. Period.
Got it.
You know, and that's how it was. Especially the Oakland car, you know, they loved me because I was pushing that kind of line. And everybody that with me, all the hogs, was pushing that kind of line too. You know, we didn't disrespect, huh?
I say Cali.
Yeah, ain't no question. You know, because, you know, my whole perspective really came, I was able to do a lot of what I'm talking about throughout the federal system because I had already had the foundation, and then when I went to the federal system, I seen how, you know, New York, D.C., and all these people was really actually hating on the California car, but you had hogs, like I told you, from every state too, you know.
Uh-huh.
And you had some hogs from D.C., just like you had hogs from New York, and these niggas was straight hogs, and I told you what hogs was doing. When you a hog, you know.
Right.
You know, they shut down shit. I don't care, you might have a gang from another place, but a hog is like, nigga, don't fuck with that nigga. That nigga, you know, he ain't with all that dumb shit. He ain't about that set tripping. So you ain't gonna disrespect him. You're not gonna do shit with him, but kill him. If you don't want to kill him, don't even fuck with him, because he, you know, ain't on that funny shit like everybody else. He respected you and everything else. And you had a lot of brothers like that from D.C., you had a lot of niggas like that from Chicago and all of that, you know. Yeah. And I was able to get introduced to some good people, man, period. Some good people, man. They helped me throughout my little 22 years in the Feds. You know, that's why I give a shout out, you know, to all the Arukas, GDs, Latin Kings, you name them. I give a shout out to all of them that was there with me. Because I know all of them, and they know me. And they gave me a foundation. You know, I didn't know nothing about organizing and shit like that till I, you know, started going to the feds, really knowing about it. Although we had a little constitution down here in the state, you know, 3 or 4 of them later on in the process of doing time, you know. But, yeah, they gave me the props, man. They gave me a route. That's why I was able to come home.
Man.
You know, I don't do a lot of talking and stuff like that, man, because, you know, I don't want nobody, you know, to sit around and thinking that I'm trying to glorify myself or nothing like that, and that's not what it's about.
No,
you know, the truth just got to come out, man, that area of time, people got to understand that myth about Crips and Bloods and all that shit killing each other throughout these institutions. Some of that shit might happen every now and then, but for the most part, all them Bloods and shit and the rest of them, man, they was having a nigga back just like we was having their motherfucking back throughout this little ordeal. You know, and the people on the street don't believe it. But it was happening like that. And you got a chance to see it too, because, you know, we met in prison, you know, so,
right.
You know, that shit was a myth. shit, we played basketball, football, and everything else.
Yeah.
You know, and being with each other, Bloods and Crips and shit.
Right.
But my thing is that, you know, if you're not on that page, you know, trying to stay together, help each other out here, don't even mention me. Don't even, you know, say shit to me, man, because, you know, I'm still with that type of unity shit. You know, I don't want to be around.
You always have been, Big Hoop. You always have been. Ever since I met you.
Yeah. And people respect that, and I respect it, you know. But this generation right now, they need to know that, you know, a nigga look like, now don't get me wrong, a brother and a brother called the color because it was the same nigga pull the trigger. But you got to recognize, you know, the ones that trying to push that, you know, unity type line shit, you know. And I done said a lot of niggas, and not saying that I say them, but I done showed them the route, you know. And you know, it makes me angry when I see people that done been there and done that. Just like my homie Rockhead and stuff, you know. He was about the hardest a youngster that I ever tried to tell something to, you know. I could name a few more just like him. But yeah, when I had an opportunity for them to be in Tracy, you know, as half of them was juveniles, you know, pretty much, in Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the chance to, like, keep them, you know, from losing their lives and shit, because they was with the business. They was just on some retarded shit. You know what I mean? They was anything. They was ready to do it at the drop of a pen. Especially when it came to each other. So, like I say, well, I didn't ever tell you about years ago when I was in Camp Finner.
Uh-huh.
You know, they don't have wardens there. They got camp directors in the camps, right?
Uh-huh.
So it was me. I ain't naming no names, but it was me and some Mexican homies, you know, that was in camp with me. And we was all sitting at this table. It was like 4 of us. And we all was hogs, you know, because we was the shot callers then in camp. This shit just didn't start in the pen. This shit was starting from camp. You had hogs in every institution that we went to in Los Angeles. Even like those houses that they used to put you in when your parents, you didn't have no parents and stuff like that.
Foster homes.
Yeah, them foster homes and like Fackler, Brooklyn, and, you know, the Red House, all these, you know, there's hogs up in them places, you know, too. But this is, the record came to the table in the chow hall. It was like three Mexicans that I knew, and 1 white boy, and me. They was all shot callers, but we all sat at this table. So he walked over, he looked at me, he said, your ass going to the pen, you know, because you out here fucking up. And he told each and every motherfucker at that table that we are all going to the pen. Some of us ain't going to make it. Some of us going to get killed. Some of us going to kill somebody and get more time. And some of us, all of us going to be running some shit in this pen. Now, we ain't doing it all. So I thought about it. You know, I don't think none of it still. I started hitting the pen, and on my mama, every person that was sitting at that table, we came across each other in some type of penitentiary. Ain't that a bitch?
Man.
And we talked about what he had told us at that table, like what I'm telling you. That's what we talked about. Man, you remember when the camp director told us we gonna do this and we were gonna do that? And don't you know, every one of them at that table was running shit in the prison. Every one of them. You know, I mean, the white boy, I can name their names, but you know, that wouldn't be right. You know?
Right. Yeah, you don't know what they're doing and what they're going through.
Right. And, you know, I know 2 of them dead, you know, but each and every one of them was shot callers. So this is another way where I was respected, because when I hit these pens, people didn't know. They be saying, man, who know these motherfuckers? They from here and they from there. you know, especially, you know, the Mexican brothers and stuff, they don't know. I had grew up with, we had come through the system together. And they knew what my heart was in my head, and I knew what their heart was, you know. But we all grown up in that system. And we knew that a person can come through there, black can come through there with that attitude, and we had to check it, man. Them people not like that. Them people will kill you, man. They on the same type of shit. You know, they ain't with all that bullshit, but you're not going to disrespect them. And they would do the same when it came to us, black people, you know. But they wouldn't able to do that if they hadn't came through the ranks and started knowing everybody and what position everybody played. That's how I was winning, man, because, you know, there was some shit where, you know, I hit a yard and said, peace be still, and that's what it was. And that's exactly what it was. But what I can say, and I tip my hat out to everybody, I will say this. Feds, when I went there, I would mention his name. His name is Diamond. He was a blood from Seminole Park. Me and him was the only two Crips in Leavenworth prison. In Leavenworth. Yeah. Yeah, now we had a bunch of people from L.A. that was bank robbers, check cash, and stuff like that, white-collar crime. But we was the only two bangers in Leavenworth, you know. So when I hit Leavenworth, you know, they took me straight to the L.A. car. But they could look, and the way I was walking and talking, they knew what I was. So I got to meet all of them and everything, you know. So then I'm looking for the bangers. And me and Diamond started hanging out together. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't two bangers there. Actually started hanging out together, homie. So things, you know, was going on, you know, from different cities like D.C. and California, and all this shit was happening. They didn't like each other and shit, you know, stuff like that. So, you know how the military started blowing the trumpet for the military, the army, to get their location to help?
Yeah, the taps and all that different stuff. Yeah. It was a military base, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying, I felt like the military base is in the back. There's two Leavenworths. They got a military base, and then they got a Leavenworth for federal prisoners. Both of them federal, but the bank robbers don't go to the military. Leavenworth. One is the one we went to was in the front. The back of it is the military. But my point is, there was so much shit going on with these other places. I was blowing the trumpet, you know, like it's wishing somebody hear this motherfucker and come up there and give us some help. Hey, yeah, that shit went on from 80 till the crack law came. Boy, when that crack law hit, around 94, 95, around in there, they flooded the feds with nothing but gangbang. Well, I was so glad to see a nigga sagging. I don't give a fuck what rag he had in his pocket. We left Los Angeles and he was sagging. I was so happy, but they was all young, homie. They fucked our culture up when that crack law came. That's on the real. It really did. They some bunch of youngsters, man. And I'm glad I was there. But they changed that 80, that crack law crew first came in. They changed a whole bunch of shit in that federal system. Believe me.
Gotcha.
They did that.
Gotcha.
You know. Because they even had Maxine Waters coming up there talking about, would y'all stop riding? Because, you know, everybody knew about, you know, the crack rides and shit. But they didn't have nowhere to send them. So they said, well, we can't send them out of their hometown, so send them to Lompoc. So everybody doing that crack law and that ride throughout the whole federal system, that's where they sent them, right there with me.
Wow.
Everybody got there. Hoov here. You know, so the warden came and said, man, why all these people coming in knowing you? I said, who are they? They from Los Angeles. Well, let them out the goddamn hole then. The fuck you got them over in the fucking hole for? And they let them all they let them all out. Yes, you know, Crusade Bloods, you know, because they didn't give a fuck. You got caught busting in the crack law, you going to jail. They didn't give a what rag you had. They was just fucking us up with that law. And that happened. You still got people still in that motherfucker just getting out. You know? Yeah.
And that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. You know we bought Tupac up there to do a concert for us, right?
Where, Lombard?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Well, when I was there, you know, it was cool. It was cool, you know.
What was that warden name? He was black.
What happened?
What was that warden name? He was a black warden.
No, not Lampard. Our warden from Lampard was the homeboy. He was from Huntington Park, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was the best warden that we had ever known. I mean, I have ever known. The black warden was Leavenworth, you know. Yeah. We had a black warden at Leavenworth, but the one at Lampard when I was there, he was white and he was out of Huntington Park. I don't want to mention his name because later on, you know, they try to do some conspiracy type of shit on him, you know.
Right.
But him, he was the best warden, man, because he understood, you know, that he was a warden and he had to deal with all these kids that they actually was placing in this prison against the law. Because the crack law was unconstitutional. You know what I mean? So, you know, he used to tell me, look, man, you know, y'all got it. I don't give a damn what y'all do, as long as y'all ain't killing police and shit like that. And they ain't trying to jump the fence to go home. So he didn't give a damn. I mean, you know, so the situation was, well, you know, you always talking about you want, you know, the convicts to run the pen and all that. And, you know, you do all the, get us concerts and all that old kind of stuff. And, you know, if they doing the right thing, going to school and all that, but you can't intervene with how we run this shit, you know? So he would listen, and we would say, like, okay. And they was wondering why Lampard was doing so good because the word was, I ain't going to say who told the warden this. You just figure it out yourself. But somebody told the warden, look, the only way this can be done, if anybody running here snitching, talking about who did this, Peter Wack did this, whoever did that, you know, different people did shit, you know, snitches, lock them up.
Uh-huh.
So if you ran to the police trying to snitch on somebody, they all automatically put you in the hole.
As they should.
You know what I mean? So shit ran smooth. So I had caught a case. Man, in like 93 there and everything. And they got rid of me and stuff. You know, the warden couldn't save me at this point because, you know, I had a cold case and, you know, I went back to Leavenworth for the second time. That's what a disciplinary transfer. They took 360 days from me. Disciplinary transfer. I went back to Leavenworth. I get there, and at this time, you know, I was in that dental, making dentures and stuff like that. So I tell them I don't want to be there because their little program was too small, and they wanted to get rid of everything. So they said, where you want to go? I said, Lewisburg. They said, you from the West Coast. You know, you don't need to be. I said, look, man, I want to go to fucking Lewisburg. You talking about? So everybody thought, you know, everybody knew me, know I could handle myself, you know, so they sent me to Lewisburg. And when I got to Lewisburg, I was thinking that I'd be the only person with LA there, but I wasn't. And this one I knew, you know, at this time that I was well respected, man, because, you know, there's a lot of shit had been going on with LA and DC. And normally, if they want to kill you, they'll kill you soon as you come out the hole and hit the hallway in Lewisburg, you know. So, you know, I'm thinking, well, I'm going out here regardless, you know, I'm going to this line. But what I did know, when that door opened, I seen Bloods on one side and Crips on the other. I mean, that whole motherfucking hallway, homie. And they'll tell you, I feel like shit, man. That's a good feeling I've ever had in my life, homie. The homies, man, surrounded me and shit and took it into the unit and, you know, every nigga talking about, that didn't know me talking about, who is that nigga? Who is that nigga? And I had to say, man, there was some good soldiers there, Bloods and Crips. You know, that's on the real. We looked out for each other, man.